Good morning, my brothers. Good morning, my sisters. What is good, the United family? I hope you are well, guys. I hope you're having a great morning to start your day. Some indifferent news today. We were thinking about more like a here we go, all terms agreed for maybe a Manuel Ugarte as well as, Matthijs de Ligt today. But there's some indifferent news coming out. United have just done some things that we have not seen them do in a while, but it might be interesting, it might be good, it might be bad. Some people, even I am thinking, wow, I wasn't expecting this. Guys, get in, smash those likes. You know what it is. It's your boy, Mark, an MUFC fan, and it's the morning update, Manchester United news, and a bit of my views. Let's get into this. Smash the likes, guys. Help the channel grow. And I want to thank every one of you because I smashed 300 likes, 300 subscribers yesterday. Thank you so much for that. On to 400. It's time, guys. We got to make that title charge to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get it on the road. Can you help me out, guys? It's going to be amazing if I could get there by the time the start of the new season. Also, would like to announce that I'm be covering all the preseason games starting on Monday right here on this channel. You can tune in every day and get full coverage of every single match of the preseason for Manchester United. And you know what it is, guys. It's your boy. Smash those likes. Let's go. And let's get right into this, guys. You know what it is. Man, I got to take this off after the stream. Bomb. Big up, guys. Let's get right into this story. And as you know, the breaking reports right now, Manchester United have agreed to sell young Willy Kambwala. It's pretty interesting that we're doing this, guys. I don't know why. I can't explain the entire reason. But let's get into the story and hear what the news is saying, because it's going to be interesting why they might be doing this deal. Manchester United defender Willy Kambwala is on the verge of joining Villarreal on a permanent transfer, according to journalist Fabrizio Romano. The 19-year-old made his breakthrough with the Red Devils in December last year following a string of injuries to the central defensive department. He ended up making 10 appearances over the campaign, where he impressed with his distribution, aerial presence, and ability to clear his lines. Kambwala recently entered the final year of his contract, and Romano has revealed that Villarreal are about to sign him for around £8.4 million. Kambwala doesn't come as a surprise. The United graduate showed plenty of promises with his limited playing time. It was quite clear that he would not become a regular anytime soon. The club parted ways with Raphael Varane on a free transfer this month, but they are about to land an upgrade from Bayern Munich's Matthijs de Ligt. The Red Devils are also working on signing another young centre-back. The club have identified and have an offer accepted by Lille for Lenny Yoro and are waiting for the player's response. The hierarchy also locked in negotiations with Everton for Jarrod Brantwaite. Keeping in this mind, we are not surprised by the club decision to part ways with Kambwala. The teenager will now have the guarantee of regular game time at Villarreal, which is essential for his development. We should get more details on the transfer in the coming hours. United will surely have negotiated a big sell-on clause as part of the deal. The Red Devils already have the option to re-sign Kambwala with a buyback clause in the coming seasons. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? I think that's pretty interesting news. I didn't expect this to be happening because Willy Kambwala, guys, he performed really well last season. And for me, I would think is one of those situations where you must keep a youngster with this sort of talent. His height, his physicality, his mechanics is really good. I was hoping to see him flourish this season with more game time, but now it looks like he's on the move. And I'm kind of disappointed, guys, but at the same time, I've seen, some of the decisions that this club has been making so far. And with the new structure coming in, Omar Barada starts work today. Yes, I know it's Saturday, but he's in the office, guys. And if this is a decision that he's making, 100%, I think I'll just have to back it for now, because I think, we've seen some great incomings, not just around the coaching staff, but in the back room. Footballing people like Vavel, just like Barada, like, Dan Ashford. We have Jason Wilcox now. So it's one of those things, guys, where, it's only, we could complain about selling Willy Kambwala because we all thought, yo, he's got some talent. But United has structured a deal where we get some money that's going to improve our FFP this summer, as well as we have a buyback clause and a sell-on clause in the negotiation. So it's going to be he's leaving permanently, right, to Villarreal this summer, guys. So this is the interesting part. Big up to you, my brother Jay. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you guys as well for mostly, you guys are always here coming in and supporting me. Big up to you, Sniper Man. Hope you are well. Nah, this is Willy Kambwala, bro, and he's going to Villarreal on a permanent sale for 8.4 million euros, as per reports according to Fabrizio Romano. And it's interesting because there's reports that he wants more game time. He wants to develop. He wants to play more games consistently. And Man United have inserted a sell-on clause as well as a buyback clause. You know what I mean? Manu Tata, I don't think this is the question. I just think this is a young player, like most young players today, that they are courageous. They are a little bit ambitious as well, and they want to develop. They want to be the best that they can be. For me, it's one of those situations I would have to compare and contrast him somehow to Scott McTominay, who I would think as a decent young player, but lacking the ambition to want to be the best. So it's one of those things we can't, realistically, we need a deep defensive core. And if the players coming in give him the feeling that he's not going to get game time or he's not going to be able to fight for a chance, then I can't blame the youngster. You know what I mean? I just think it's one of those things where we may not have failed him because we've been developing and probably planning to give him more game time this season, but he wants more than that. So it might not that we are failing him. It might just be his expectations are more than what we are offering at the moment. Big up to you guys. You know what I mean? 100%. This is what I think. He's very talented, so it's kind of disappointing at the same time for me as well. But some more interesting reports that are coming through right now. Let's get into that. I'm not going to stick on these things too much. I wanted to jump into some reports really quickly, so maybe we can get some interesting, news at what's going on. Xavi Simons, guys, there's some reports that we've been trying to loan him. We are currently locked in talks with PSG for Manuel Ugarte, who is also the parent club of this youngster. And this talent has been showing off really well in the Euros 2024 championships this summer in Germany. He's been playing very well, and he's been playing very well in Germany in the Bundesliga for Leipzig. I think this deal is very interesting. In my honest opinion, a loan is a smart move. We need the squad depth. There's going to be a lot of games this year. 55 just basic, that we have to play. And there's going to be the additions if we progress further in the FA Cup, as well as the Carabao Cup and the Europa League. So, guys, it's going to be very interesting. I think having the rotational squad depth gives you that sort of opportunity to have a choice to choose, and it will be interesting to see what we do with this deal. So let me just rock this right now really quickly, guys. Manchester United reportedly made a significant offer for RB Leipzig Xavi Simons. Gazeta dello Sport claimed that United, among other clubs, keen on signing the Dutchman this summer. Simons, who has been on loan at Leipzig from PSG, impressed during the 23-24 season, and particularly with his performances in the European Championship, where he was a key player for the Netherlands alongside Cody Gakpo. His goal against England highlighted his potential and skill. Simons has emerged as one of the most promising young talents in Europe. Initially developing his skills at Barcelona, famed La Masia Academy, he moved to Paris Saint-Germain, where he continued to hone his abilities. His loan spell at Leipzig has allowed him to gain valuable first-team experience in a competitive environment, further enhancing his reputation. Simons' versatility and ability to play both as an attacking midfielder and a winger make him a valuable asset for any team. Meanwhile, Dani Olmo is another player to keep an eye on, guys. With 3 goals and 2 assists, Olmo was crucial to Spain's journey in the European Championship. His creative playmaking and goal-scoring ability have made him a sought-after player. But Olmo's release clause is 60 million euros, a figure that must be paid in a lump sum by July 20th. I don't think that United might be willing to spend that much money. As you can see, we've been negotiating deals with players who are well within a certain region, and I would say somewhere nearing maximum 45 million pounds and a minimum of 20 million pounds. So it's one of those things where I don't think the Olmo thing might happen, because we have shown that we rather pay an increase of £2 to £3 million so far on some deals, especially the Xerxes deal, rather than pay the exact release clause in a lump sum right now, because I think that gives us more wiggle room to spend. And if you look at the current spend so far, if we get the Matthias de Ligt deal over the line, we would have spent somewhere in the region of 37 to 40 million pounds and have signed 2 players and still have a transfer budget of 110 million pounds when we had 150. So it's going to be very interesting, guys, to see what we do. I think personally, Xavi Simons will be a treasure if we could get him to Man United on a loan. It would also give him that feeling that he needs to do better and to compete and play at the very peak, so we can sign him on a permanent deal. We know that he wants out of PSG, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does, guys. 100% J United. It's a shame, but if he will get game time at Villarreal and does well, we have a buyback clause, and it will be a blessing in disguise. We need first team players now and not the latter. Jay, I 100% agree with you. Yo, Sniper Man, Fabrizio has made the tweets on Willy Kambwala, bro. It's there on Twitter right now. You can also check it out if you want, bro. Like I was checking about all morning. That's why I'm so late. You know, normally I would have been live an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. So I wasn't able to come live because I wanted to double check on everything that's going on before I come out and tell you guys any crazy things. Big up to my brother Jarvis. I hope you're well. What's good, my bro? How are you feeling? I had having the birthday celebrations all weekend. I hope you enjoy it. And you know, I don't know if you want to come in, but if you have the time and you would like to, I'll just drop the link. It'll be interesting to hear your views on some of the moves that we're making, because as you can see, Jarvis, you know, Willy Kambwala, someone that we all thought was going to have a season this season, is actually leaving. We're looking to loan Xavi Simons. We're negotiating for Manuel Ugarte. There's some interesting things happening at Man United at the same time right now. You know, let's go into another report really quickly, because there seems to be some kind of report that we are still in for Joao Neves. I'm not too sure how that is. Let's just touch on that really shortly, because there's a report that there's a new 60 million offer that's still on the table for the midfielder. And as the football frantic pace continues, it finds itself at the heart of a transfer battle for Joao Neves, with a host of clubs vying for his signature. The bold move, United has offered them somewhere in the region of 60 million euros in a concrete bid with unknown add-ons at this moment. And it seemed to be an improved bid from the last bid that we previously made, which was all but exactly 70 million pounds, 70 million euros. So I don't know, guys. I'm not saying that this is a deal that we're definitely going to do, but I can say that we have been really and truly just consistent with chasing this youngster so far this summer. So it's one of those things where, you know, it's quite interesting to see if we actually go in for him. I don't think it's something that we're not going to do. Actually, I think it's very close to being to something we might be doing. But, you know, just looking at the funds and how much we have to spend and some of the critical positions that we actually need to replace, you know, it's one of those things where I have to say I'm a bit skeptical still. You know what I mean? But as you are asking about this, my bro, let me just bring this up for you, Dark Crow. There's a few youngsters also leaving as well. You know what I mean? So this is just the confirmed information so far. Jay, maybe I'll have to add you on that list, bro. Big up Manu Tatak. You know what I mean? Keep it kosher, bro. You know, you're always here, man. I never had anyone complain about you before. Don't let Jay complain, bro. You know what I mean? We're all a family here. Keep it kosher, broski. Yeah, bro. What's up, my dude? I hope you're well. I hope you're well. The news is coming thick and fast, bro. And you know, Kambwala looks to be wanting more consistent game time, so he's heading off to Villarreal. You know what I mean? I was just talking about a new improved bid that we've made for Joao Neves with a base of 60 million and unknown listed add-ons. More information will be retrieved on that soon, so I will be bringing the full details as soon as I get them. But you know, another young player that has moved from United is Majid Balagoon. And he's been moving. He moved to West Ham and he just completed his deal. You know what I mean? There's a few youngsters that are leaving the club. He spent 2.5 years at Manchester. He's a decent player. and it's believed that the 16-year-old was not offered scholarship terms at Man United, but has managed to find a home elsewhere. So it's one of those things where you will see a lot of shift in the young talent at the club. You know, some of the players may not be given a new contract, some of them may not be given that scholarship, and some of them may have to be moved on. And it's one of those things that's pretty interesting to me because it's like, you know, we all see the talent of some of these youngsters and we'd all like them to make it through, but it's not always going to be the case because sometimes, you know, we can't just put everyone in the first team. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to pick and choose. And sometimes we might get the best ones and sometimes we might lose one or two. So it's going to be interesting how they do it, but at least we can say that we're being a little bit more efficient now. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. Manu Tata, bro, you're always here, bro. I don't expect that you would be disrespectful to anyone. So I'm not trying to say that you were, but I'm just saying, Jay, I know Jay and I know you, and I know you probably didn't mean that. So I just wanted to say so that there's no trouble, bro. You know, big up to you. Thanks. Anyway, thanks for that. You know what I'm saying, bro? So I wanted to touch on this story as well, guys, because this one is another interesting story. And, reports are that Marseille have identified an alternative to Mason Greenwood. I have read this report a bit, but it hasn't actually said who they have changed their alternative to, but it just said that they have offered a final bid of 31.6 million, and this is before the mayor, Benoit Payan, has made his comments, which has stalled the deal completely in the waters. And I would not. I am kind of understanding on the fact that maybe Mason's Greenwood camp is feeling a bit scared for his safety after the mayor makes these comments like this. But you know what? There's also reports of another outfit that are pretty much interested. Oh, they did name the option, Simon Adingra. So De Zerbi says if he can't get Mason Greenwood, they're going to go for Simon Adingra, the youngster who played in the AFCON this year, who played for Brighton as well. We all know him with that cut, with that blonde patch in front right there. He's very skillful, scored some amazing goals this season. I have to say he was one of the best players in AFCON as well. So it's going to be interesting if they get that deal over the line. For us, we're hoping that they buy Mason Greenwood. But on Mason Greenwood, guys, there's some other news breaking on him. And Napoli and Roma are back in. Roma is coming in with a huge bid apparently for him. So it's one of those things where he might be on the move. You know what I mean? You know me, guys. You know I would love to keep him at the club, but the decision by the higher ups, I will also respect. So this is just some interesting news coming out on Mason Greenwood. Napoli and AS Roma joined the race, and Napoli have emerged as a serious contender for winger Mason Greenwood. The reports claim that Napoli contacted United 2 days ago to express their interest and assess the current status of Greenwood's transfer situation. Greenwood, who impressed at Getafe last season with 33 appearances, 8 goals and 6 assists, that's a total of 14, and that's more than a lot of players who've played in the Premier League this season that everyone says are amazing. So, and remember, this guy hasn't played football for 18 months before last season. Lazio are pursuing with an offer of 20 million plus a 50% of any future resale in the event of an emissary to England to negotiate. They've even sent an emissary to negotiate. Marseille, as you know, what we said, 31 million bid and are awaiting the player's response. Roma have also expressed a keen interest and are adding to the competition for his signature. Despite Napoli's recent struggle, Greenwood is reportedly enthusiastic about the prospect of joining the Azzurri under Antonio Conte. However, Napoli must offload at least 2 players, including Victor Osimhen, to make room for the English winger. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. Cloudy Lotto Club really recently upped their offer from 22 to 23 million with a potential 25 million plus 50% in a future resale value. That's somewhere in the region of a possible 50 million euros. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going on if Napoli really does this deal. You know what I mean? It's all going to be interesting. You know what I mean? Let's see what's going on. But he's also been offered the number 10 at Roma. So that's going to be really interesting. If Roma is offering him the number 10, guys, they want to make him their marquee player. And I can't imagine that he was going to get that number, seeing that, there's Dybala at Roma. You know what I mean? Big up to you, Manu Tata, 100%. Hey, Angie, good morning. I hope you're well. Big up to you. Yeah, bring in Xavi Simons. I think it's going to be interesting if we could get that deal over the line. GB, what's good, my bro? Normally, I'm never earlier than you. Big up to you, bro. Big up, big up. MG would be smart to go to not to go to Italy, and we all know why. I know you've been saying that all for a long time. We Gates, Jarwick, big up to you, my brother. All as Gate as Coot, you know, having a good morning myself. Luman, what's good? What's good? So let's get into this last few reports, guys. I touched on Xavi Simons. We're definitely interested in getting him on loan. I also touched on the fact that we're still in negotiations and it's very much in an advanced state with Manuel Ugarte. I also let you guys know that Willy Kambwala has is agreeing. Probably it's going to be confirmed over the next 24 hours to join Villarreal for £8.4 million. United have inserted a buyback clause as well as a sell-on fee for him as well. Angie, we're going to share this sentiment because I'm also disappointed with the fact that Mason Greenwood isn't coming back, but I'm living in the hope with his buyback clause as well as you are. It's going to be interesting to see what is done there. And it's one of those things where I just feel like it's going to be interesting to see what we do. As you know, there's also some new reports coming out at the current moment. You know what I mean? And I'm going to talk about this really quickly. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. We all spoke about this player largely this season, for different reasons. Some of us might not be interested in having a return, but I would say to everyone that's joining me and watching, have an open heart, regardless of who the player is. They could probably deserve a second chance at some point. If the manager and the club, when I and the team, I would say more the manager and the team, like the rest of the team, the United starting 11 and the subs, if they are willing to accept Jadon Sancho, I would say as fans, we should just support it because you know what, of course we're going to have our views, but the team who's going to play with him, they will also have a view that we should also try to respect. Let's touch on the story and see, because there's reports coming in that there's a sudden rapprochement between Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag at Manchester United and has changed this summer's transfer landscape completely. United fans sat and watched in dismay as first Chelsea and ultimately Bayern Munich swooped in to grab Michael Olise, seen by many as United's solutions to the problems on the right wing. But both Sancho and Mason Greenwood appear to be stars United would have to sell far below their market values in order to raise funds to buy potentially inferior players. Greenwood's departure looks inevitable and imminent, and while it's still possible and perhaps even likely Sancho will move on, seeing his name back in the United squad does appear to make that lineup look considerably stronger. Given that we know so far United are looking for two centre-backs, possibly Matthias de Ligt and Jarrad Brantwaite, and Euro as well, defensive midfielder Manuel Ugarte, and at least one forward with Joshua Zirkzee having already signed. So it's one of those things. United are reportedly still considering a permanent deal for Sofian Amrabat, with Fiorentina leaving his buyout clause open despite the contract having expired. Ineos may well offer less than the buyout, with some reports suggesting that the Sierra side would take at least 15 million euros, which is somewhere in the region of 12 million pounds. He is desperate to stay at Old Trafford and ended the season well, so we have assumed that United will exercise that option to keep him as a squad player. But as you know, guys, there's a lot of players rumored to be leaving, like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as well as Victor Lindelof, and even possibly Casemiro. Depending on player sales, other positions could be strengthened, as well as Terrell Malacia, guys. I reported yesterday that he had a third surgery, so it might be interesting. He might not be available for the first 6 months of the season. It's going to be a tough one for him. There's also been some reports that he's been suffering with a little bit of mental health. So it's one of those things, guys. And to be honest, I'm not too against Jadon Sancho coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah, yes, Matata. Greenwood is a generational talent, my bro. Like, in my honest opinion, there's not an attacker at United that is better than him or has more talent and ability than him. So I would say he's our best attacker currently signed to our books. Mason Greenwood is the best attacker at Manchester United, my bro. Like, if he was to come back, no one would clamor if Ahmad was on the bench, bro, because this guy, he's left foot, right foot. He dribbles you anyhow, left or right or straight through you. He can shoot with the left or the right. He can cross with either foot. The dude is great, bro. But at the same time, it's the situation. It's a touchy one, man, and we have to see how it goes. You know, him and his fiance just released, some touching videos about their story over the last year with their new daughter as well. It's pretty interesting. Maybe you guys should go to X and check it out. While you're at it, if you have the time, smash the link on that's pinned in the chat, and you guys could probably go give it my stream a retweet on X. If you have X, guys, it will be pretty amazing. Xerxes is in the lineup. He is here, and Xerxes is probably going to be playing off, in a kind of false nine kind of role. I think it's going to be interesting because, for me, I always thought Jadon Sancho or Mason Greenwood would have been amazing to have next to Hoyland. And having Xerxes gives us a different option that's going to make it really good. You know what I mean? So it's going to be one of those things where Xerxes is going to be playing a different sort of striking role to Hoyland. So we might be looking at a different type of a different type of system when they're both playing, or change in the way we attack when we have one or the other. But they can also play together because Xerxes, he's not one of those out and out number nines. He's more of a link up type of striker. He gets involved more like an Anthony Martial type player. So it's one of those things. I will let my buddy come in and give you guys a better description of Xerxes. It's my pleasure to have him here as always. Jarvis, the one and only. Big up to you, bro. How are you doing? Good morning, man.
Mark, hey, good morning, and because I just woke up, I slept in late. I was actually golfing. I was home 2 o'clock at night, so well, I'm up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the land of the midnight sun. If I had that kind of vibe, I'd probably be doing the same thing myself. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I know. So how are you, Mark? Hey, I heard just some news about Kwambala, and we have Tony, and we have Javi Simons. So there's actually three players linked this morning, or is it?
Right. There's three players linked this morning. There's some reports that Tony is handed in a transfer request to the club saying he wants to join Manchester United.
Mhm.
There's some reports. There's confirmed reports that Willy Kambwala is set to join Villarreal at the moment for £8.4 million. We have a buyback clause in place and a possible sell-on clause as well, which for me, I have mixed emotions about that. I'm kind of sad at the same time, but I'm kind of like I understand because for me as a fan, I want the player to stay. I'm pretty sure the club wants him to stay. I'm pretty sure Erik ten Hag planned to give him more game time. But for the player, I think he wants to go on and play more game time, and
Yeah.
he's willing to take it at a lesser club, in my opinion, or and a club that's pretty good at the same time in La Liga. Villarreal is a very good club for developing young players as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, it is what it is. But good business, you know what I mean?
Well, 10 million is not 10 million euros to be exact.
William.
Yeah, it's not great when you have seen what Everton, what Newcastle, what Aston Villa, all of them have been selling unknown youngsters with one Premier League game maybe for 25. So for me, hey, big up, Luman. Thank you. 50th birthday. Only 47.
47, Luman. 47.
Well, but my thoughts is, um, I think this is for the future. We are basically loaning him out with an option to buy him back in a way with
Yeah.
the resale value or buyback clause or whatever you call it. So if he hits it on in La Liga in Villarreal, yeah, we can bring him back in 2 years' time, and he will be ready. But at the moment, let's say if he signed Brantwaite, Delict, and maybe Lenny Yoro, where is Kambala going to play? He will play on the bench. So
Exactly.
it's the best for him. It's the best thing, but I think 10 million is a little bit on the cheap side. I would expect at least 15 for him because of what we have seen. He have played. How many games did he play last season? Do you have the stats?
I hold on, I have to bring up his paper. I think he played 10 games last season. I'll just double check that information for you right now. I
Yeah,
believe it's 10 games.
it feels like about 10 games, and he did well in those games, and he's versatile. He can play fullback. He can play center back. He has the athleticism in his body. You can see it. He's quick. He has good balance. He's good on the ball, and he's mentally ready. So for me, I think 10 million is on the cheap side. But okay, okay, uh, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
it's 10 games.
10 games, yeah. So what's your thoughts? Do you think it's a good move or?
Well, for the player, I think it's a good move. Like for me, any young player that is ambitious would want to play more games, and if they can't get the game time at the club they are, depending on their age, and Kwambala is 19, right? I think it's good for him to want the move, whether it's a lesser club, if to get more game time to help himself develop into a better player. I think for Man United is a bit of a profit and loss because it's good to have him go and develop and have the option to buy him back, but at the same time, he could develop at United. You know what I mean? It would be really, really cool if he developed at Man United, in my opinion. So I'm kind of disappointed, but I respect the decision because I think this is more from the player and has nothing really to do with the club. So I don't think we failed him. I just think he wants to do better for himself, and this is his only choice it came down to.
Yeah, but the thing is with Kwambala is he's a young kid. He came through the ranks of the academy. I think as a player, you need to, I would say, step out into the world to grow as a man and
Mm,
to gain experience. And getting a loan deal in I would say the championship or something like that is not the same. It's much better going to Villarreal. It's a good club. They are in the Primera Divisi in Spain, and they're at a high level. They are always competing in, let's say, in Europa League and stuff like that. So I think this is a good move. Um, didn't we have other players in Villarreal? Didn't Hannibal go there?
no, no, no. I think it was Palestri that went there on the
Pelestri,
first
Pelestri.
for
Yeah,
for a loan for a short stint.
yeah.
And we have a little thing with Spain and loaning players. A lot of our players went there, including Alvaro Fernandez. So it's just interesting, and that's cool. I think it's better because you know what? I think it's a versatile situation. Loaning players to the championship is good because it's close to home, but at the same time, I feel like the league is a little bit extra rough compared to the Premier League. I
Mm,
think, in some cases, if you look at Dango Jr., they might be better off going to like Spain or the Dutch league where they actually getting the opportunity to play more football than a
mm,
overly physical league. You know what I
mm.
mean? I think the championship is a little bit more physical than the Premier League, less more techy in a sort
Yeah.
of way. So, I think these are good options, good choices, and I mean, we might not be getting the kind of fees that the likes of Chelsea would have been getting, or maybe even a Man City or Liverpool. But I would say that maybe for the future, just like you're saying, when we make the deal with a possible buyback clause, maybe we will be increasing these sell-on prices for young players coming out from our academy, especially based on the fact that you see their performance this season. It has been a long time since the academy won, their age group in the Premier League division among other teams. So I think that's a lot of the reason why we haven't been able to sell players at top dollar because they have been losing for a couple of years. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's an investment for the future, and we see a clear way of how we are handling the young players now. We are selling them Alvaro Fernandez, same with Kwambala, Hannibal. We are selling them, get rid, or in a way giving them a chance to blossom and try to gain experience, and if they come good, we have a buyback clause and we can bring them back. So there's a thought, there's a way, and we have a plan for the future. So in a way, I think it's also reflects good at the academy, because now the youngsters coming through know there's another way. They don't have to go through the first team. There is a chance to get sold, be a man, stand on your own legs, and then come back if you succeed. So I
Hundred
think it's
percent.
good. The only thing we have to remember when it comes to center backs, especially young center backs, we are fooled to believe that the top talents, the best center backs, are players like Lenny Euro and and all of them, like Matthijs de Ligt came through Ajax, played the Europa League final for Ajax when he was 17 years old. That's not the standards. Most center backs needs experience because it's a very difficult role to play. You need to read the game, and that you can only learn to read the game through experience. So most center backs come good at the age of 23, 24. So you need more
100%.
years at that role. That's the thing. So for me, I think it's a good way going forward, and yeah, I think we will see Kambala again.
Yeah, I think so too. It's one of those things for me where I would hope that he develops well. I wish him the best. You know what I mean? This is another interesting piece of news that I checked out that I didn't really
Mhm.
make anything. Big up to you, Abdullah Irwan. He says that Aston Villa are close to agreeing £50 million with Everton for Amadou Onana, and the 22-year-old has already agreed on a long-term contract with David Ornstein. I think that's interesting news because this might be a blow to our transfer hopes of getting, Everton to cut price for Brantwaite. I think now, if this deal goes through before we make a third bid for Brantwaite, I think we will probably be forced into paying 70 million. And
Mhm.
maybe, like these guys are saying, we need to walk away from Brantwaite and go for someone else. Because for me, anything above 50 million is untenable for Brantwaite. Like, I could understand that he's young, he's talented. I could understand that, he had a decent season in the Premier League last season. But for me, that's way too much money for the price. I think maybe I a little bit hipster when it comes to these things, but I just think that if you look around Europe and they could find at least 5 to 10 players just as good for half the price, we shouldn't even be considering it as an option. That's
Mm.
just me.
Yeah, I think you are right, but we got to remember the English tax. The English tax on English players, it's higher. Um,
100%.
it's not uncommon for British centre backs to go for 40 to 50 millions if they have 1 to 2 seasons experience in the Premier League. So Everton ask what they think they can get for Brantwaite, and yeah, fair play to them. But you have to ask the question: do they really want to sell Brantwaite?
True.
Because if they sell Brantwaite and now they sell Lunana, they will go down.
Yeah, that's a
They
hundred
will go
percent
down.
shocking. That's possibly because it's going to be a tough situation. Not only if they sell Onana, but there's other clubs swooping in on one or two of their players. Like I heard there's some reports about Fulham looking at Tarkowski,
Mm,
as well. So it's going to be interesting what they do. So I think it's going to be a tough call. They're going to be this probably going to be the De Jong transfer this summer, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Something that go down to the wire. One of those things.
Hmm.
But another interesting report, and I see Abdullah came in with the headline on it, is that this situation here with Madrid and Lenny Euro, and we have the 42 million pound offer being accepted by Lille for Lenny Euro, and it's one of those things where Madrid, they want they're trying to get to the player, but what have the reports coming out today and in Germany is that Madrid have lined up a possible option in case
Mm,
they don't get Lenny Euro. This Portuguese guy, is Rafa Marin, I think is. I'm not too sure what his name is, but that's the guy there in the picture, and it's like, for me, it's like earlier this, when we had the offer accepted. Oh, the guy's name is Diego Lete,
yeah.
right? My bad, guys. Diego Lete. So that's his name, Diego Lete, this guy right here. And for me, it's pretty interesting what they might be doing with that because, that kind of signifies to me, not as saying that this means that we are going to get Lenny Euro or anything like that, but it signifies that, there might be more of a 50-50 chance that we do get him as opposed to not being able to have a chance at all in the world at signing the player. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. And Lenny Euro, Real Madrid, I think he still go to Real, and we are in the race. But
yeah,
I
it's a,
think
it's
when
a
Real,
shot in the
Real
dark.
Madrid wants a player, they get the player. It's just the way it is. That's we have seen this dance before with Kamavinga, with Chouameni, a lot of youngsters linked to Man United and linked to Real Madrid. So it's
True.
just like a far fetched dream. Um, I see a lot of people in the house, and I saw Danny B coming in, and mental ball game. All the legends are here. The sniper man, and great to have you on, guys. I just want to mention two things, Mark, that I have seen that no one else has mentioned. The first thing is the guy who was sold to Al Etihad, or what's the name? The Ronaldo club, Arouar.
Yeah, Al Nassr.
Yeah, Arouar is his name.
Yeah,
Hussam
yeah.
Arouar. Yeah, I think that means there's no links for Bruno anymore because that's Bruno's role. So I think we can just clear that off the blocks. Bruno is not leaving this summer,
And
100%.
I am happy about that. I can't see, for me that would be a good thing. In all fairness, I think that Bruno this summer, it might have been interesting to see what we would have done with the funds.
Hmm.
But for me, I think we need a little bit to settle down with some of the players in the squad that we have. As much as I might want Rashford to go, I think with such a shake-up happening in midfield and in defense, that it looks like we need to keep at least a little bit consistency somewhere. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
yeah,
not
yeah.
really for the sake of the fact that I think most of them are great leaders, but I just think that it's more like they need a transition. We need to transition some of the players out and into the squad at the
Mm,
same time.
mm. Yeah, and another interesting thing with this Al Ittihad closing the deal of Houssem Arouar, I think his name is pronounced. Sorry if I'm slating his name. From AS Roma. It's the fee is about 12 million euros with add-ons. So in a way, are we seeing a shift in the prices that the Saudi clubs are buying, are paying for the players? Will this mean something when it comes to the Casemiro deal? Is 50 million too much to expect? Can we expect more than about 15 to 20?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, like I want to complain about some of the prices we be doing deals for players in and out of the club in some instances, especially the youngsters, as well as some of our players in the first team.
Yeah.
But for me, everything before this new structure came in, I just putting it on a shelf like this. We did these bad things before for me, based on the fact that I think we didn't have proper football people in the background, and we were just making some mad deals before,
Mm,
wasting money. We negotiated poorly, all those things. So I said, there will be some sacrifices that might have to be made in the next 18 months for the greater good of the club moving forward.
mm,
So we may have to lose on some deals in the next year before we could start gaining from next summer's transfer window. And I just think that whatever happened this summer in terms of outs and ins, I was expecting us to spend a little bit more money. And when it comes to terms, like when I saw Joshua Zirkzee 34 million, I tell myself 60 million United want to spend. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mm,
When I see Matthias Delit, I say 50, 55, 60 million again.
mm,
So for me, now that we're doing these deals more like at a deficit to what I was thinking about, something is changing. So we might lose on some of the players going out this summer, but I feel like based on the poor business and the situation that we had happen last season
yeah.
and before. So it can't be
Yeah.
helped to me in that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to take over your show, but I had one more thing. I don't know if I can share something
Yeah,
here on screen.
if you share it, I'll bring it up, Jarvis. No
Yeah,
problem.
because this came out yesterday. Um, I don't know if you can bring it up. Yeah, there you see that Ipswich has confirmed the signing of Jacob Greaves from Hull from in an 18 million pound package, 5-year contract, and I think this will influence the Brantwaite deal because this guy Jacob Greaves from Hull was the guy Everton was going to sign as backup for Brantwaite. So I think
Okay.
this thing, no one has mentioned this because people don't pay attention because they only read what Fabrizio is writing all the time, but not fully understand the picture. So for me, I think this means that the Brantwaite deal is officially off, at least until Everton will get a new replacement for Brantwaite.
big up to John James, big up to the chat, big up to Jarvis and Mark. Just wanted to say, yo, can't stay, but everyone, please smash those likes and subscribe. Thank you very much, John James, and big up to you, my bro. Jarvis, I completely agree. And I didn't notice this sale was confirmed yesterday
Yeah.
because I was like checking out all these things, right? Because I write down some names of players that possibly signed to clubs that we looking at targets at, and to see if that they were getting them, because that would probably highlight, listen, our deals are going through and
Hmm.
these things. But for me, I was always more on the side that I don't want us to get Brantwaite, you know what I mean, Jarvis?
Well,
But
the thing is, if Ten Hag wants him, and
yeah,
Ineos
that you see,
wants
that's
him,
the next thing, Jarvis.
I don't care if fans don't want him. If the system wants him, yeah, sign him. Alien Tenno, big up, Alien Tenno. And I see Jan Wiki says, I sent that message in the Telegram group yesterday. He did. Yeah, thank you, Jan. You reminded me of that. So that was a good thing. And I have been speaking about this Jacob Greaves from Hull many of times, and I think he's a great talent, and I'm excited to see him in Ipswich playing next season under McKenna. I think that will be
Yeah,
interesting.
I heard Ipswich made an offer for Anthony Martial. I heard they also approached Victor Lindelof, which is interesting.
Hmm.
And I heard that they were thinking of approaching, Wan Bissaka as well. And that's interesting news to me. You know what I mean, Jarvis? I think
Yeah.
it's gonna they're gonna do pretty decent. I think they might have a probably chance of finishing in somewhere between 15th to 10th if they play well. I've watched a few of the games back over the last couple of weeks, and I feel like Ipswich plays a decent brand of football if they strengthen in like defense, and they get a little bit more of a prolific striker in
Mm.
and a decent midfielder who could come in and substitute for their creative 10. I think they can do bets next season, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are some interesting players in the championship, like that player who scored against us for Coventry, you know. I was seeing that he was supposed to be on a move, but he's moving to another club in the championship instead of taking a move up, because he was supposed to be coming up I think it was to Southampton,
Mm, mm,
and that was interesting that he didn't move there. So I mean, like, some of the deals that to be done, I feel like it's interesting. And like I said, Jarvis, I would, whatever the structure decide, I think now, this, especially this season and going forward, we have to give them a chance and believe in them, because as much as I might not like a player or I might want a player, if they don't go for him, I think they have a reason why. And having football and people involved in these decisions now
mm,
make it a little bit more easier to accept that, listen, they're making a choice because they know why.
mm. This is, by the way, Jacob Greaves. This is his chart. Aerial, he's strong in aerial duels, passes. He's strong in progressive passes, defensive actions. So this is how he is, and this is how he was ranked last season. He was first in the championship in aerial duels, second with crosses to goalkeeper's box, defending, second in dribbles, second in offensive duels, second in fouls suffered, third in aerial duels. So he scored high in almost every aspect of the game last season. So we had a hell of a season for Hull City. So I think he will cook for Ipswich.
Well, Jarvis, thank you for that, because you know something, and I'm telling man them now. Jacob Greaves is going into my FPL team as a defender.
Hmm.
I'm telling you guys, like, this is the kind of information I like, because I play FPL real thing, and gain these one or two players that coming into the league that have a real good consistent record is be
Hmm.
interesting, because then when they come in and perform, when you have an FPL team, their price and their value goes up exponentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of bodes well for your FPL team, because you start off with 100 million every season. And if a guy you buy for 3 million turn out to be 6.5 million halfway through the season,
I'm not sure what we can expect in output from him, because when it comes to FPL, it's all about assists, clean sheets, and goals.
actually, for defenders, defensive actions are huge. So if he makes good blocks and good
Yeah,
defensive
bonus
actions,
points.
clearances,
Mm,
yeah, it's be huge.
mm.
So yeah. I mean, it's interesting, Jarvis. Another little bit of information I wanted to bring. It is not really how to put it. It's not really like transfer related, but it's just a bit of information about the new format to the Europa League that we're going to be facing this season, thanks to our heroics in the FA Cup. So I don't know about if you guys really interested in this, but I just wanted to bring this up so you guys could get some information and see what your thoughts are on this. The Europa League format will be drastically different this season as Manchester United
Can you
aim to win the
enhance
tournament.
the can you enhance it a little bit because I can't
Oh,
read
sorry.
anything on the screen.
Better?
Yeah, better. I'm
Cool.
old.
No worries, Joe. My bad, Travis. So the Europa League format will be drastically different this season as Manchester United aim to win the tournament for only a second time in their history. After an eighth-place finish last year in the Premier League, the fans were trying to come to terms with the fact of no European football, but you know what? They won the FA Cup. So thankfully, we did that. On the club's official website, they have laid out the key changes to the format of the competitions that fans will need to be aware of during the coming season. The biggest difference is that the group stages will no longer exist. In the past, each team will put through a group of 4 teams, and the objective was to finish on top in the top 2 spots to seal qualification to the next round.
Mhm.
However, there will be a new league format expanded to 36 teams instead of 32. Clubs will still be allocated 4 seeding pots based on their coefficient and drawn to play two opponents from each pot. They will play one match against a team from each pot at home and one away, a total of 8 fixtures, the club
8 games.
explains. Right?
Mm.
This, therefore, for the first time in the group games will not all be done and dusted before Christmas, with the final match be taking place on the 30th of January. The Red Devils have secured a spot in pot one this time around, but unlike other years, teams will need to play sides who are in the same pot. We will be joined by such clubs as Eintracht Frankfurt, Lazio, Porto, Roma, and Tottenham Hotspurs. Another big change is that teams finishing in the top 8 of the league phase play will qualify automatically for the round of 16, while those placed between 9th and 24th will compete in a two-legged playoff tie for the right to join them. This means that should United finish between 9th and 24th, but then go on to reach the final, they would need to play a whopping 17 games in order to do so. 8 group games,
Wow.
one two-legged playoff, 3 more two-legged rounds for the round of 16 quarterfinals and the semi-final, and then play the final. Given the possibility of extra time and knockout stages, they could end up playing half as many minutes in Europe as they do in the Premier League. A strong and deep squad will be needed more than ever.
Mm.
Moreover, all UEFA tournaments are now self-contained after the qualifying round, which means that teams finishing 25th and below will be eliminated from Europe completely. In other words, United's primary objective will be to finish inside the top 8 teams in the league format. United have had a mixed record of late in the Europa League as they won the competition in 2017 under Jose Mourinho, beating Andre Onana's Ajax 2-0 in the final. Disappointments has since suffered a bitter defeat in the final 2021 when they lost 11-10 on penalties against Villarreal after a
Mhm.
1-1 draw. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this information? I think it's pretty interesting, because this kind of highlights to me why we are trying to get a deep squad for next season, because we are trying to probably go far in all competitions. I think also if you look at the state of the current qualification period, we have a minimum of 8 games, which is 2 games more than we would have played in the group stage of the former competition. So it's
Mhm.
already increasing the amount of outload on the players. When you look at extra time and these things, the round is actually finishing in somewhere in January as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see
Mhm.
how it works.
I don't know if you can read this, but these are the seeding groups. So we see in pot one we have Roma, Porto, Ajax, Frankfurt, Lazio, Spurs, Sociedad, and Salzburg. So basically, we will play one of these teams because you can
Hmm.
choose from each pot. Pot two is Alkmaar, Sporting Braga, Olympiacos, Lille, Lyon, Las Klins, Fenerbahce, Young Boys, Karabakh. So basically, no two of those clubs, and in pot three we have, like, for example, Molde and Bodø/Glimt from Norway, so we can actually Glimt is from northern Norway, so let's hope United meet Body Glimt so I can go to see them play.
Well, well, Jarvis, you like me. I praying for Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Because my buddy is a huge Eintracht Frankfurt fan. He have a season ticket, and if we get Frankfurt, that means I already have tickets for the game. You know what I'm saying? That would
And
be nice. I could drive right
yeah,
there, watch
that would
United.
be perfect.
I
And we have
mean,
Galatasaray here, Victoria Pilsen, Dynamo Kiev, Midtjylland in pot 3, and in pot 4 we have Partizan Beograd, Sheriff, Malmö,
Mal, Bilbao, Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim.
Hey, Hoffenheim. We could do a Hoffenheim, guys.
We have Nice. Can we potentially meet Nice in the group stage?
I don't think we will get Nice. For some strange reason, I just feel like that we might face them in the round after, but I don't feel we will
But we
get
could
them.
face Nice.
We could, but I just have this feeling, like they might orchestrate it so we don't face them in the
Yeah.
first round,
For me, the most important thing in this Europa League is I don't like to travel. So I don't want us to meet, for example, Apoel Nicosia, or we go all the way to Greece and stuff like that. I don't want to go to Ukraine or I don't know where we're going to play teams from
Nah,
Ukraine.
Germany is far enough, and Norway. Those are the two games we want. A game in
Yeah.
Germany, a game in Norway, and hopefully the other two games is right next door. It's not too far away from where we are actually. So
Mm.
yeah, it will be interesting. Guys, what are your thoughts on this information? I think this is pretty interesting, especially the European thing, because for me, I'm happy that we're in Europe. Is what I'm looking for. Just so, do
Alien
you
Tenor
think?
wants to go to the sun. He hopes we get Apoel.
Big up Alien Tenno. John James is asking a question and I'll pose this to you, Jarvis. Do you think we should go for Tony if the price is around 40 million? Apparently, he may want United. The club is already becoming more attractive through simplicity and a working structure. From John James.
Yeah, well, for me, it doesn't make sense. The Tony link doesn't make sense at all because we have just bought a striker in Sirkse and we have Højlund. So why do we need a third striker? Okay, there will be a lot of games, and don't forget we have a youngster coming up who looks fantastic. Who can also fill in as a third striker when needed.
I think so. I think someone is saying it's better for Kwambala to go. As we might get, he will be a great defender as well, and we'll probably get Euro and Brantwaite and Delit. So it's not that big of a deal to cry over Kwambala.
Yeah.
Yali, yeah, we sell Kwambala for 10 million euros. It's all right sum. There's a buyback clause inserted and a sell-on clause as well. So it's pretty interesting. The player wants more game time. So for me, give him hope for the best for him and wish him well and hopefully we get him back later on. You know what I mean? Yeah, I heard about Naipan. Jarvis, you know about Naipan? I haven't been
Yeah,
able to check him
it's
out,
good.
so maybe you could give us a little bit of
He's good.
information.
He's young, I think, but it's hard to say because I've never seen him play anything else than the Norwegian Premier League, and that's like level. I would say maybe second tier in Britain. Like
Okay.
yeah. So
Championship?
no,
First division then.
yeah,
Okay,
no,
okay.
no, not championship. A little one step lower.
Oh, another bit of interesting news, guys, which I wanted to tell you guys, especially when I saw you, Jarvis. I remembered. Oh, Hoyland's younger brother just signed for
Yeah,
Eintracht Frankfurt. So that's pretty interesting. I forget my buddy told me that yesterday. He's super excited. It's the young one who plays in the midfield, not the striker, right? Because I know
mm.
one of the twins is a striker as well, but the other one is a midfielder, the one with the long hair like this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's pretty
Interesting.
interesting. I'm excited. My buddy has some tickets for their preseason game, so I probably will be able to see him in action, and I will be looking to see what he does. I think he's pretty decent.
Mm.
I think he's kind of like a Donny van der Beek type of player, but I could be wrong. I think he's a little bit more physical and a little bit more energetic as well.
When it comes to the Hoyland brothers, they are all very athletic. We know his family. His mom was a track and field star, and his dad was a swimmer, I believe. And he's very athletic, Hoyland, and I think it runs in the family. So I think he will come good. He has the physicality.
Yeah. See, Eliantano is coming in with the knowledge here because FA Cup starts in February. And we have Europa League up until the 30th of January, so it's going to be very thick for United. It's going to be very interesting. We're definitely going to have
Well,
proper
Mark,
squads. Right?
how do you think we will play it out in the Europa League? Do you think we will go for it as Ten Hag has done recent years, or do you think the structure now will say to Ten Hag, okay, we are going away to Sheriff or Trabzonspor or whatever. It should be an easier game. Maybe we should try to rest some of the players. Maybe this season play with almost two
Teams.
lineups, two
Well,
teams, one for the Premier League, one for the Europa League.
well, interestingly enough, Jarvis, when I saw when I saw Xerxes, I wasn't too keen on him. I saw him play at Bayern Munich before, and I was like, he's a different option to Hoyland, right?
Mm.
But then when I saw we were interested in Manuel Ugarte, my head started thinking a bunch of different things. And I honestly think that, we have this idea to play a slightly different way with a team that probably changes about 6 to 7 players at a given point. Or let's say 5 on average, right? So we
Yeah.
change 5 players in the starting lineup and we play, let's say, something closer to like a false nine situation with Zirkzee. And then we change 5 players again, and Hoyland is up front where we're playing a more kind of attacking wing sort of thing going on with Hoyland at the spear tip holding the play up. And I was saying, when I was thinking about this, I was like, well, it kind of makes sense. The Europa League is like a whole league in itself
Yeah,
as well, another
it
league
is.
competition, you know what I mean? Which is different from the cup it was before. So maybe the reason for us trying to get 2 to 3 or 4 centre backs is so that we could have a core play in like the FA Cup, the domestic competition. So this core defense will play FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and will probably rotate for league games. And then this next pairing will play Europa League and Premier League. You know what I mean? As the core starting team. And I think that's pretty interesting. And I think it would be very good. And I actually think that we might finish top 4, but I think definitely like for the Europa League we'll be going straight down to the wire somewhere in the semi-finals. I could see
Yeah,
United
could be
doing
up to
this.
17 games, the Europa League, the whole tournament, if we go to the final. 17
Well,
games. If we
that
go to the,
that's if we
I think
don't
there will
play.
be an extra playoff after the
Yeah,
group
yeah.
stage to
Well,
go
that's
into
if we
the
don't finish in the top
first
8.
knockout
If we finish as the
round.
first team in our let's just say in our grouping, right? Per se.
Yeah, there will be 15 games then if we go
Right.
to the
So
final.
if we play the first
Yeah.
game, then we would avoid 2 games. You know what I mean? I think I think this is definitely why we're looking at the amount of players to come into the club that we are, and this is why they decided not to split the first team from the youth team in training for this
Mm.
preseason. I think they plan to use the youth team, at least some players from there, to form up a team for the Carabao Cup. I really
Yeah.
think that the Carabao Cup this season, you're going to see a lot of young players and players who might not be your definite starters in the Premier League, if you understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it
I
will be
understand. I
interesting.
understand. But the thing is, when it comes to Europa League, there's a lot of traveling. A lot of traveling. So at least in the away games, we need to rest players. We can't play Bruno 17 games in the Europa League, 38 games in the Premier League. In all the cups, it won't be good. So we need a double backup on every role on the team.
Yeah, this is why you see, guys, I'm not too mad at the situation with Sancho. I know Jarvis. I know you have a slightly different opinion. We know it.
No,
We
no,
know. And I mean, no, I
Mark,
mean when I
Mark,
say that,
don't
I
get me
mean,
wrong when it comes to Sancho. The thing is, I don't trust Sancho. I don't like his attitude. It's about his mentality.
well,
If you
yeah,
down tool on the manager and go against the manager, if you don't believe in his system and you publicly say it openly and you protest, it says a lot about the mentality of the player. And when
true.
you have someone like that inside the squad, inside the locker room, in the training all the time, yapping around, talking to the other players, you will spread negativity, and some virus will spread in their mind, and suddenly you have a bad circle, because this is what we talk about: player power. The days of player power needs to be gone. And he can say sorry 6 months later and say, I'm sorry, let me play. Yeah, okay. but we already know. It's like the girlfriend that cheated on you.
True.
You can take her back because she's beautiful,
Mm.
but you will never trust her. And the same I have with Sancho. I will never trust that guy because I know who he is.
I mean, I might be a little bit soft-hearted on this situation, you know. I feel like in one ways I actually didn't want him to come back, to be honest. I've been really honest. I didn't want him to come back.
Hmm.
But for me, if the coach, if Ten Hag decided to give him a chance, because this is what I think it down to. I think he probably approached Ten Hag, on his own accord, which has been reported. He just walked into the office and said, I want to talk to your gaffer. If the gaffer say I'll give you a chance, I think I gotta hold my hands up and be like, you know what, do your thing. And if they make a decision and if they don't follow it through on both ends and both sides don't hold each other accountable, then it will, in January window he could be moved on. So in my honest opinion, I think, for me, I want us to focus on building up the defense, building up the midfield with
Yeah.
reinforcements of the same level. So, looking to buy a winger right now for me is not really an option.
But Mark, where is Sancho going? Where is he going to play? And try to explain to me from a tactical point of view what is Sancho going to do in this Ten Hag system?
Well,
Do you see
concurrently,
it?
I think
Do you see the
I think
contradiction?
I actually think no, but you see, Jarvis, for me, I actually think that if I put Sancho on the left hand side, he gives us a better performance than Marcus Rashford in terms of what we want to do in this system. Because as you know, Garnacho kind of prefers the right side a little bit. Anthony would get to probably do his own thing on the right side. And if you have a Sancho who linking up the play and probably putting crosses in from the left, because he will hold that width because
Mm.
of his style, then for me, I think is good. I think it would be good, but that's me being hypothetical because I would be expecting Jadon Sancho to be running at full pelt as much as he can and
Mm.
being as defensively minded as possible as well. So that's me expecting him to be a lot more energetic and intense than he actually
Yeah,
is. But
but the key for Ten Hag next season, and we know he's tried this the last season, especially in the beginning. It's about high pressure, high recoveries, winning the ball back. Every time we lose the ball, we will swarm the guy who is on the ball on the opposition team and win the ball back. it it
yeah,
it it requires high intensity. It requires smartness in how you run, how you angle your body, how you talk to the other players, and you have to have full intensity and give 100% all of the game. I don't think Sancho is this kind of player. I think he's a flair player. He likes to wait for the ball, and when he gets the ball, he likes to play with the defender, and he has very good qualities, but not in this Ten Hag system. I don't see him coming good at all because he's not
probably.
the right player.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree, Jarvis. I think I'm a little bit sentimental. I could admit that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm a little bit thinking prospectively, hypothetically in my head about it and actually being a little bit ruthless like I would normally be in
Mm.
some cases. So, David, sorry about that. I know I think we mentioned that Sancho is returning, so far temporarily for now. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Mason Greenwood situation is developing. Napoli came back in with a huge offer. Marseille is still there, and there's some interest from Roma coming in hot and heavy for this guy. There's some other outgoings. KWAMBALA is leaving for 10 million euros to Villarreal. There's some interesting news that we're trying to get Victor Lindelof off the books by the end of next week. Possibly might see him going to Fenerbahce to join Jose Mourinho. There's still reports that Wan-Bissaka might be going to Galatasaray. However, I kind of hope that we don't move him on this summer. I think we should keep him and let him and Dalot fight on that side,
Mm.
and let's bring in someone on the left hand side. So there's a few more interesting talks going on with Casemiro and Al Ittihad. So it might be interesting to see if that works out and Casemiro does actually leave the club. So prospectively, this is the news that we have right now. There's no real new. Well, we just also signed Johnny Evans to a 1 year contract as
There's
well.
a last update on Kambala. We have this one. It says Villarreal has already booked a medical for Kambwala after a 10 million euro deal agreed with Manchester United. 5-year contract and buyback clause confirmed as reported earlier. Here we go. So it's official 5 minutes ago from Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah, official. Here we go for Kwambala.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Danny. I also think Kwambala is going to be better than Brantwaite. You know what I mean? But you know what? Big up. Don't do the special one at that. He might be the kebab one, but he might bring a European trophy back to Turkey team. This you never know. He's one of those guys that
Excuse me
you.
for 1 minute.
No
I have
worries,
a phone
Jarvis.
call. Yeah.
Big up to you guys. Ugarte, Simmons, Amrabat, no more in midfield for me. Well, Teno, it might be interesting to see what we do because, as you know, there's some interesting news coming out at the moment where we might be interested in getting some more players into the club. I think it's going to be interesting to see how our midfield shapes up. Definitely, probably Ugarte and Simmons might come in as a pair, and we will probably be triggering that 12 million for Amrabat. You know what I mean? Big up to you, Tommy Boyle. I hope you're having a good one. We'll be back to watch later. I hope you're well. Have a good weekend. Same to you, my brother. Big up to you. Hey, what's going on, Richard Hutchinson? When are Man United getting Delit, De Jong, Ugarte, Sane, Kvaratskhelia, Lucas Hernandez, and Olmo? I don't think we're going to be getting Lucas Hernandez. Definitely not in for Sane. But I think Ugarte and Delit will be somewhere between Monday and Wednesday. This next week, you will get some more confirmed reports. Delit deal has said to be reaching a close juncture where United have already agreed a general fee. The players' terms has already been agreed, and what they're trying to negotiate is a payment structure similar to what we did with Joshua Zirkzee, where we pay something like 17 to 21 million pounds up front and be able to pay the rest in a 3-year installment position. So it's one of those things where the delayed deal is going to be taking that negotiation phase, but it's almost as good as done. It's one of those things that I actually think that we will certainly be getting over the line. There's some reports that the Manuel Ugarte deal, we're working on the same kind of payment structure as well, with PSG kind of trying to haggle for 50 million pounds or 50 million euros because we want to pay in that payment structure. But it's going to be interesting to see if that's actually the case, to be fair. You know what I mean? Amadou Onana is another bit of information that he's possibly on his way to Aston Villa. That's going to be interesting as well, how that impacts the Jared Brantwaite deal. They also lost out, as Jarvis was saying, to Mr. Greaves. That defender coming in, he's joined Ipswich. So it's going to be interesting. I think some deals are going to have some knock-on effects to what we do in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal though, Teno. Antoine Robertson, the American, I think he's very
Yeah.
good. I think you know me, Teno. I won't say I'm an American hater, but I think their football team is not that good because we play against them in CONCACAF. But they have some amazing talent across the field. I think Aronson is pretty good. I think this young guy that came in, I always forget his name. He comes in as a 10. He's pretty good as well. But I also really, really like Robinson. I think Robinson
Mm.
is by far their best player on the squad. He's physical, quick. He's got a very good engine. He plays very good on the left.
Yeah.
He can score goals. He can cross the ball, tackle well,
Yeah,
strong guy.
and I think he has the right attitude. You see, he don't give a f. When he plays, we have seen it against United. He goes in hard. He gives everything in every duel. Sometimes he get dribbled, but he don't care. He just keep on going. So I like his attitude, and I think that's the right attitude. Those are the type of players I would like at the club. I've been mentioning him. I've been mentioning Jared Bowen. I've been mentioning this guy from Newcastle. What's his name again? The winger, Anthony Gordon. Those are the types of players with the right mentality I would like to see at Man United. The never die mentality. Always give 100%.
100%. I like those kind of players to me, Jarvis. Like, I like players with that kind of mentality. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That give everything on the field and leave it all out there. Big up to, yeah, GB, big up to you, bro. Aston Villa does have Champions League, so, they're going to look to
Mhm.
add to their squad because they would need to be able to compete on all fronts. They weren't too successful last term in the Europa League, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Big up to you, Alien, for that. Jarwick, I know you're concerned about Xavi Simons, but I think he would prefer to come to United than stay at PSG, where he definitely know his game time is going to be very, very scarce, seeing that Luis Enrique does not really favor him. And at United, based on the fact that the Europa League is like a league, I think he's going to have an opportunity to get more game time because Bruno can't play every game, and there's going to yes we have a Mason Mount, but let's be real. I don't think anyone has seen anything from him this season that says he's going to be a nailed on replacement for Bruno. So competition is there. There's a spot open for someone to make a claim. And I think Xavi Simons is very good.
Yeah, I just want to say to Luman, he say Luman comes in and say, Jarvis, you and Mark only want English players. Well, I would say that's not true. But yeah, I mentioned three English players as we spoke. But
You did, but I
for me,
mean,
it's about
me,
mentality, attitude, and I have to be honest. I mostly watch the Premier League, so I know more of English players or players in the Premier League. But for me, I don't care what their passport says. And by the way, Mark Robinson, he's American.
I was about to say that Robertson American,
Anthony
but
Robinson, yeah, yeah.
me, Luman, English players, me. Me, I am probably the one guy that's always be propping the European contingent, my bro. Like, to be fair, the defending choices I want, like, is Lenny Euro, Delit, probably this guy Inacio as well, or Scalvini. You know what I mean? And lately, I've been trying to push for United to do what we did with Lisandro Martinez to Arsenal and hijack Calafiori. This is the defending options that I would like to get. I mean, I'm not really that huge on getting Brantwaite, but like I would say, guys, the one thing is common, whether it be an English player, a Spanish player, South American, or from Asia or Africa,
Mm,
mentality is key. And United needs a different kind of mentality. You had to be a kind of hater to play for United, bro. You had to be able to back yourself
yeah.
and take a lot of criticism. And I'm talking about from on all fronts, from the fans, from the media, from people on social media as well. You know what I mean? And you have to be willing to take all of that and still come out and play the type of football that you can play. And that's just very unique to have, in my opinion. Big up to you, Joseph, coming in from Uganda. Big up, bro. Big up. Yeah, I mean, Jarvis, it's
Yeah.
not. I don't think it's about nationality. I just think that yes, one thing we will have to fill the English quota in the squad. That's natural. Any league has that rule. But at
Mm,
the same time, I think it's about the best player for the squad,
yeah.
and in terms of finances and performance as well.
It is. It is. If we want to get back, we have to have the right players with the right mentality, and to get the winning ways, you have to have the toughest. You have to be tough as a nail. You have to be constantly working your socks off every game, even if you play in the League Cup against a League One team, or if you're going away to Apoel. Nicosia in the Europa League, you have to give 100% every game, and the manager have to trust the players to do that. So for me,
100%.
there's no way around it. You have to be a winner. You have to have the mindset, and this is what I would like to see at the club. We can't have people who are prancing around on 350 pounds a week, going away on benders and down tooling every time the tough gets going. You will never win a league title or a Champions League with that attitude. Never. So there's no way around it. If we want to be a good team, we have to have the right mentality.
100%. 100%. You can't say that enough, guys. I mean, mentality is always key. Talent is good, but guys, you must have a certain amount of mentality in order to express yourself as a talented player. You have to give that intensity, and it comes from having a real good mentality. Yeah, Tano, there's a gym and the guys they've been looking to sell Nice for the last few months, but don't. This is a non-stress issue because it's probably going to take them 6 to 9 months to get the sale approved and done, and it's probably not going to happen until the end of the season, and if they get it done anyway. But with UEFA, I think you never know about that in this honest situation because those rules could change and a multi-club option could benefit Man United. To be fair, I think having maybe adding another club somewhere in Germany would be really good for United. So in terms of being able to distribute players about and create that same kind of atmosphere at Man City where you could send a player here to develop, send a player there to develop, and they also have the opportunity for those clubs to pick up young talent from those regions that we can't get at for for the prices that they would probably be afforded that we won't. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I think it would be interesting.
it will. It will. Oh, there's some updates on Amadou Onana. He have accepted the Villa project and wants to play Champions League football.
That's
So
that's to be
now Villa and Everton just have to agree on the 50 million price tag.
that's going to be interesting to see what
Mm.
happens there with that. To be fair, and in other news, guys, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I watch all the United teams, and I just wanted to bring this in. It mightn't seem to most people who watching it as as a serious bit of news, but we just confirmed the permanent signing of this young lady to the Man United women's team, and that is her name is Melvin Maynard. She's a very talented French striker. She scored quite a few goals for United this season. She had a bit of injury spell coming down to the end of the season because she was on loan at United, but they made it permanent for the next 3 years. So this is pretty good because Luisa Garcia is on the way out, as well as Katie
Mhm.
Zellum and as well as Mary Earp. So it's going to be interesting. I heard that we're interested in a few other women's players. We know we signed this player from Wolfsburg, Janssen, very top player from Germany. She's coming in as a midfielder as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what changes are coming for the women's team because they are going to be rebuilding that squad as well. As you know, reports were that Sir Jim Ratcliffe had not initially made concurrent planning for their future, but it has been done with the fact that this new structure is in. They will be overseeing everything in terms of the youth teams, with especially with the appointment of Christopher Favell, who's instrumental in dealing with
Yes.
the youth teams and the women teams more specifically. He was brought in not just to help recruit players, but also to bring a foundation for the women's team. To improve the foundations that we had with a more global scouting representation in terms of player representation into that women's squad. So, guys, that's some interesting bits of news that I wanted to bring to you. I know you guys have been mentioning the Patrice Evra issue. I don't know if Jarvis wanted to touch on it, but I have it. I have that topic here. I haven't really read the entire article yet, but for you guys, if you want, if you want to get more information on what is happening with Patrice Evra, this is basically the story, and I'll just read it out here for you guys. And it's just a bit of interesting news for me, in my opinion. Like, Patrice Evra is handed a 12-month suspended prison sentence for abandoning his family. This is just a headline, guys. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure it's not, you know, as that states. But according to Le Parisien News, Patrice Evra was provided with a 12-month suspended prison sentence on the 9th of July by the Nanterre Criminal Court for abandoning his family and has been ordered to pay his wife 4,000 euros for moral damages and 2,000 euros for legal fees. The retired Manchester United and France player was accused of missing 969,000 in alimony payments. However, Evra's lawyers have informed the French outlet that the facts are disputed and the former player has filed an appeal. Right? Evra and his wife Sandra Evra initiated divorce proceeding in 2020 after images of the ex-United fullback was kissing Danish model Margot Alexandra were published by the Daily Mail. However, the divorce has not yet been finalized. Patrice Evra's former trouble with the courts, well, he has fined 1,000 by Paris police for homophobic insults after saying a homophobic insult in 2019, which has no relation to the case. But I have read on another source that it was something to do with the fact that they're in dispute for what is going on with some, with exactly, the fealty in the marriage and stuff like that. And it's not that he actually has not paid any money, but like they want more money for whatever reason, and he's refusing to, capitulate to that or whatever. Let the court sort it out, guys. I would say, don't speculate on this issue. I think the headline was a little bit of a clickbait
Well, I
situation.
just want to add something to that because on the sentence, because the lawyers of Patrice Evra stated that he filed an appeal knowing that he provided his wife with an apartment, a house with a swimming pool in the south of France, and he lent her almost 2 million euros for her daily life. So abandoned, well, let's see.
Exactly. So this is
I'm
what
not
I'm saying.
defending Patrice ever. I'm just stating what, because I want to have the opposite view.
Yeah, I didn't have that in the article. I sort of read that, and I know I read it somewhere, but I didn't want to say it like if it's for sure. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
good that you had that information there, Jarvis. I think it's one of those things that as fans, we could just like let it be. The course will take care of that. I don't think Preacher Boy is a terrible person. However, there's going to be disputes, and it could get ugly. So I don't think it's something to be a huge talking point. Notice that Man United players had a little bit of a situation in the last 18 months with these kinds of things.
mm.
But, I mean, it's not something that's tied to the club. So, guys, take a little chill on that one. And let's move on to transfers. I've talked about all the transfer reports that have been happening today. I don't really have anything much else for you guys in terms of possible transfers. I know that we're into some negotiations that are ongoing, and you would possibly be hearing more confirmed news about these things in the next few weeks. I'm sorry, sometimes I just can't. I can't. You guys, you're too much. You're too much. You know what I mean? But big up. Thank you so much for you guys joining me, and big up to Jarvis. Jarvis, I don't know if you have any last words, but thank you so much for coming in. It was
Yeah, yeah,
amazing to
yeah.
have you.
I just
And
want to thank everybody for watching. I think there was about 25 people watching at the most. We have 21 likes. That's good, people. Good going.
thank
And if you
you.
watch this in a rerun, hit the like. And if you haven't subscribed to this great guy's channel, because it's a good channel, he always provide you with the latest news and updates and talk it through and share his opinion. So it's a great channel. So
Thank
stay
you,
tuned,
Jarvis.
people, for the next one.
Come on, people, smash those likes. I just hit 300 subs yesterday, guys. So thank you for that again. Big up to all of you. Thanks so much for your help. Jarvis, thank you so much for your guidance as well. You and Mick, you helped me a lot. Thanks so much for the advice and stuff you always give me. And it's really good to have all you guys joining me. I have to thank all of you, especially Alien Tenno. You are always here, my bro, whether it's late night or early
Peter.
morning. Big up to you, my bro. Thanks so much. Jarwick, bro, thank you. You're always here, always here in the chats, bro. You always have some good jokes as well. Big up to you, John Wick. GB, well, you already know, man. This guy sent me batteries for my watch, so I won't be late to streams anymore. And since then, I've been constantly growing the channel. Thank you so much again. Big up to you, Joseph. First time you're on the channel live from Uganda. Big up to you, my
There you go.
bro. Thank you so much for being here, Tommy Boyle. Cheers to you, bro. Richard Hutchinson. Well, you've been here from the beginning, bro. So you
Mm.
know what it is. He banters. He's an Arsenal fan, one of my friends. You know what I
It's
mean? Really
okay.
good guy. Big up to
You
Danny
can't all be
B.
perfect.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Big up to Danny B, always coming in, guys. And thank you so much. And Angie, thank you so much for moderating the chat as usual and all the support. Thanks so much. Big up, and we'll be seeing you guys later on. Thanks so much. You know what, England, and I didn't talk about the England game, but I'm planning to do a stream tonight to talk about that game tomorrow between England and Spain. I think it's going to be an interesting contest. However, I'm starting to get the impression that based off all logic aside, that it's coming home to the Three Lions. I'm not one that actually favors the English team, so for me to say that, it
Or
has to be a feeling that I have
can you
that's
can you
shocking.
imagine Kobe Mainu winning the winning the trophy? Is he
Thank you.
19 years old? 19
19.
years old, winning.
Well, either way, it's going to be an interesting day on Sunday, guys, because you know what? It's Kobe versus Yamal, two very young, talented players who have been playing very well over the last season. I would think some of the best two players in the league. I'm trying not to smile too much, Tommy. You're making me blush, bro. Tell your mom I hope she has a wonderful day. Big
Big up
up.
to your mom.
You know what? Big up to everyone, guys. And it's going to be interesting. We'll talk about it later, probably around 8 p.m. UK or 9 p.m. UK. If you guys have time, I will be back and we will be going through this. So, Jarvis, thanks so much. Thank you guys ever so much as well. Smash a like and subscribe if you're in the non-live section. And if you're on X, guys, the link is pinned. Give it a like, retweet. It helps the channel grow. And we'd like to grow the channel to possibly 1,000 subscribers when the season starts. But without your help, guys, I can't do it alone. So I would thank you in advance and big up to all of you coming in. Manu Tata, I think that's a stretch, but Jarvis probably handsome enough to be the next James Bond. So, we might be able to be like in the middle ground there. Yeah, Spain is pretty good, but it's almost like it's written for Kobe. To be fair, that's just how I. That's exactly how I feel. Spain is too good; they should win, but like it's almost written in the stars that Kobe gonna win that European Championship.
But then again, if he loses, it's good if we keep him hungry for more.
Exactly as
Yeah.
well. Exactly. So, guys, thank you so much, and I will be seeing you all later. Cheers for me. Bye for now. Jarvis is there. Thank you so much for coming in, bro. I will see you later.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys, and catch you all later.